Ever wondered why some toxic relationships are impossible to escape? Uncover the 7 powerful behaviors that keep people hopelessly attached. You might recognize them in your own life.
Okay, let's dive into something that honestly seems like a real paradox in relationships today.
Mhm.
We're talking about these highly intelligent, really successful, self-aware women. You know the type, absolute masters of their own lives.
Right. Got it.
Yet they find themselves systematically walking away from relationships that, well, on paper, they look perfect.
It's incredibly counterintuitive, isn't it? And
Yeah.
something researchers have frankly puzzled over for ages. Why leave the stable, kind, successful partner?
Exactly. And then sometimes commit really deeply to someone who, maybe on the surface, doesn't seem to be doing anything.
Well, extraordinary.
Yeah.
And the old explanations, they were always, the usual suspects. Fear of commitment, or maybe some deep self-sabotage thing.
Or maybe just repeating bad patterns they saw growing up.
Right. But the research, the sources we looked at this week, they suggest those theories, mostly just missing the point.
They were kind of like smoke screens.
Yeah. It seems they weren't running from love at all. They were running from something much trickier, emotional suffocation that felt like love. That is the absolute core of it. So many relationships promise love, but what they actually deliver is, well, it's control. It's conditionality dressed up as connection.
And the mature feminine psyche, it seems, developed this almost unconscious radar for it.
A very precise sensitivity. It detects when intimacy comes with those invisible strings attached, that expectation of being possessed somehow.
Okay, so our mission today, then, is to really decode the profile of the partner who offers the antidote, the one who creates what the sources call irreversible emotional magnetism.
I like that phrase.
Yeah, this is the partner profile that lets someone achieve that, ultimate relationship goal, loving and being loved truly, without losing the freedom to just be yourself.
Which sounds simple, but it's profound.
So let's get into the 7 behaviors. Subtle, maybe, but powerful. The ones that create this unshakable bond, starting right at the foundation, with the self.
Okay, behavior number 1. This is the absolute non-negotiable starting block. Loving from personal fullness, not emotional emptiness.
Right. And culturally, we are just soaked in the opposite idea, aren't we?
Completely. This myth that real love means finding someone to complete you. We romanticize the drama, we confuse possessiveness with passion.
We celebrate needing someone desperately as if that's the peak of romance.
Exactly. But the mature reality, it's the total opposite. Real deep attraction goes towards people who love from their own fullness.
So the partner chooses the woman not because they have this gaping hole they need her to fill.
No, but because they see something valuable in her, something they want to honor, to accompany.
And you mentioned something fascinating from the sources, that this difference is neurobiologically detectable. What does that actually mean in simple terms?
It basically means your brain, your nervous system, it knows instantly. It can tell if the person coming towards you is looking for a project, someone to rescue them, or if they're a whole person offering companionship.
Oh.
And when you feel chosen out of abundance, not out of someone's lack or scarcity, that primitive alarm system we all have, the one that links love with losing your autonomy.
That panic button.
That panic button, it gets deactivated.
Yeah.
And that's the huge difference, isn't it, between feeling genuinely chosen and feeling trapped.
I love that idea, turning off the panic button.
Yeah.
Because, when you have two whole people, that constant background hum of anxiety about, will this break or will they leave? It just fades.
It really does. And that sense of wholeness, it leads perfectly into the second behavior,
Which is
giving space without creating distance.
okay. So the independent person, especially one who's maybe been burned before.
Right. They develop what one source called an allergy to invasion. It's wisdom, hard-earned wisdom, often from past relationships where love meant slowly losing yourself.
Like your time shrinking, your hobbies disappearing.
Exactly. Or needing some solitude, just quiet time, and having it interpreted as rejection, like you're pushing them away.
Oh, that's so familiar. You just want to read a book for an evening and suddenly it's a whole thing, a relationship crisis because you needed alone time.
Right. It gets framed as a threat.
But okay, if a partner does consistently give space, isn't there a risk? Couldn't that look like indifference maybe? Or even confuse the woman if she's used to being well managed?
That's a really important question. The key is how the space is given. The irreplaceable partner doesn't just tolerate space. They see it as a gift. They're secure enough inside themselves.
So they don't take it personally.
Exactly. They understand that chosen solitude is self-care, it's not abandonment. They've moved past that insecurity that says, if you're not focused on me right now, you must be leaving me.
And this creates that amazing paradox the sources mentioned,
Which one?
that when a woman genuinely feels that freedom, like she knows she can lean in or pull back without causing a meltdown or a drama,
Yeah.
she actually ends up wanting more closeness. But it comes from genuine desire, not like obligation.
Precisely. It shows up in small ways too, doesn't it? Not needing to know every detail an evening out with friends, not feeling that urge to check their phone.
That underlying trust, the freedom creates the desire.
It absolutely does. And that emotional freedom, that trust, it really sets the stage for the next piece, which is all about stability.
Okay.
Let's talk about behavior 3. Authentic emotional stability. And we need to be super clear here. This isn't about being cold or emotionless.
Right, not robotic.
No. It's about a deep kind of serenity. It comes from strong internal regulation.
And why is this specific quality so crucial for, say, the high-achieving woman we started with?
Well, think about her history. Often, the women we're discussing have spent years navigating really turbulent relationships, a classic emotional roller coaster,
Yeah,
right?
ups and downs, highs and lows.
Exactly. And what happens is they develop this hypervigilance. They're constantly scanning, consciously or not, assessing, is my partner going to suddenly explode? Are they going to withdraw? Are they going to become someone I don't even recognize when things get stressful?
Their nervous system must be just fried,
Yeah.
constantly braced for impact.
Completely exhausted.
Yeah.
So let's take your example. The car breaks down, or there's a big setback at work. The emotionally stable partner, they remain coherent, they stay themselves, they don't suddenly turn the chaos outward onto her or become punitive or just shut down completely.
Finding someone who can just handle the storm without becoming the storm themselves.
It's like finding solid ground after years of trying to walk on water. It's profoundly regulating for her nervous system.
That makes sense. That stability, that source, called it flexibility with deep roots.
I love that description. It allows her to finally relax. And paradoxically, it actually encourages her own emotional regulation because she realizes she doesn't have to manage his emotions on top of everything else.
That feeling of rest must be incredible. But okay, stability is great, but what if it comes with an agenda? Like, I'm stable, now let me fix you.
You're leading right into behavior 4, accepting without resigning.
Yeah, because we live in this, I don't know, almost toxic self-improvement culture sometimes.
We really do, and love often gets twisted into this kind of reform project.
The diamond in the rough idea, they're great, they just need a little polishing. By me.
Exactly. And that's especially damaging for women who've already done a lot of work on themselves, who are self-aware.
Because the underlying message, even if it's subtle, is devastating. It's, I love you, but...
It's, you are not sufficient as you are right now. The love feels conditional. It depends on you changing to fit some external ideal.
Ouch.
So, the profound acceptance shown by this irreplaceable partner is the radical cure for that. They see the woman as complete right now in her current humanity.
Flaws, contradictions, messy bits and all.
All of it. She's celebrated for her totality, not just her potential or how she could be improved. They aren't just waiting for her to finish evolving into someone else.
Wow. The result of that must be transformative.
It really is. Think about all the energy she used to spend defending herself against criticism or resisting those subtle pushes to change.
Suddenly that energy is free.
It's liberated, and yes, she probably does transform, she grows, but it's because she feels loved, genuinely accepted, not because she's trying to be loved.
That's organic growth, driven by feeling safe and appreciated, not by pressure.
Exactly. It's coming from gratitude, not coercion. Okay, moving on. Let's talk about connection in this crazy, hyper-urgent world we live in.
Yeah, the pressure to respond instantly.
Right. Which brings us to behavior 5, available presence without pressure.
Okay. In a world where, like, a text message left unread for half an hour can genuinely start a fight, finding someone who can just hold emotional space without freaking out.
It feels like finding an oasis, doesn't it?
Truly.
And this non-anxious presence, it sends a really deep, simple message. You don't have to perform for me. You don't have to constantly reassure me to merit my love or attention.
The partner sustains the connection without needing to fill every single silence or fix every tension immediately or get constant updates.
Yeah, they're just there, available, but not demanding.
So this kind of availability, it doesn't create those, what do the sources call them, emotional debts.
Exactly. There's no reciprocal pressure. You can pull back, maybe process a tough day at work, knowing they'll still be there when you resurface. You won't come back to like a barrage of anxious texts demanding to know where you were.
That sounds incredibly secure.
It is. This quality, this non-anxious availability, it activates what's called the primordial confidence response.
Like an emotional safety blanket.
That's a perfect way to put it. It's that feeling of absolute security that allows you to deeply relax. It lets you be fully messily human within the relationship. It's presence that sustains, not presence that suffocates.
And that deep security, that feeling of safety, I guess that's built over time, right? Through consistency.
Bingo. Leads straight to behavior 6. Long-term emotional consistency.
Consistency sometimes gets a bad rap, though. Like it's boring or predictable.
Yeah, it can be confused with monotony, but that's not what we mean here. We're talking about deep coherence.
Coherence between what?
Between who someone says they are and who they actually are consistently over time, especially when things get tough or when they think nobody's looking. Ah, okay. That makes sense.
And the mature emotional detector, it gets really sharp at spotting inconsistencies. These women, they've learned the hard way that one or two big, grand gestures, they don't make up for daily unpredictability or flakiness.
Right. True love is measured in all those small, consistent moments added up.
Exactly. They're looking for someone whose private self actually matches their public persona year in, year out, not just during the honeymoon phase.
So when their actions consistently match their words, when the person they met on Tuesday is the same person they can rely on during a crisis months or years later.
The nervous system can finally exhale after potentially years of being tensed up, on guard.
Wow.
That reliability creates the foundation, the possibility of actually relaxing in love, investing emotionally, without that constant background fear that this reliable version is just temporary, you know?
Yes.
That the real person will show up when the first crisis hits.
It lets you get off the emotional quicksand.
Yeah, and plant your feet on solid rock. It's absolutely essential for long-term safety and trust. Okay, that leads us to the 7th behavior. And this one feels maybe the most liberating. Loving without Sir Mary. Using love as currency.
This one cuts deep because the opposite is so common. It's almost a societal norm, isn't it?
Using affection like a reward, or withholding it as punishment.
Yeah. Intimacy becomes this negotiation tool. We keep score, maybe unconsciously. We give affection, but there's this little ledger in the back of our minds waiting for a return on our investment.
So finding someone who could just give love freely, without that mental scorecard, without hidden conditions, without some ulterior motive for getting something back.
It feels almost miraculous in today's world. Their love doesn't whisper, "I love you if you do this for me."
It just says, I love you because I choose to give this love.
Yes.
Yeah.
And when there's zero pressure, no emotional blackmail, no scorekeeping, the result is beautiful.
How so?
Reciprocity just happens. It flourishes organically. Your heart naturally wants to respond to that kind of generosity, not because you feel obligated or scared, but out of genuine desire and deep gratitude.
That kind of giving must just disarm all the defenses.
Even the most sophisticated ones, it's incredibly powerful.
So when we put all 7 of these behaviors together, stability, space, acceptance, presence, consistency, fullness, free giving, the synthesis is pretty clear, isn't it?
It really is. These aren't just like handy techniques or relationship hacks.
No.
They're expressions of deep personal maturity in the partner. They require that the partner has done their own work, healed their own emptiness, learned to value solitude, developed a strong sense of self.
So the fundamental revelation here is mature women aren't actually looking for partners to complete them anymore.
No, they're looking for partners who are already complete themselves, someone who can accompany their existing fullness without feeling threatened by it or trying to compete with it or needing to control it.
It's that shift the sources talked about, moving away from two halves trying to fuse together.
Towards two totalities, choosing synergy. Love as freedom that's shared, not love as possession.
And the final really profound finding that came through in the research is what the mature feminine soul is ultimately searching for.
Which is?
An emotional home.
Tell me more about that.
It's described as this place, this relational space, where she can finally rest while being completely authentic, where she can be vulnerable but still feel powerful, where she can show up with all her facets.
The strong parts, the fragile parts.
The wise bits, the doubting bits, all of it. without feeling like she has to edit herself down to be acceptable or lovable.
Wow. And when she finds that home, a home built on genuine choice and consistency and freedom,
She just knows. She knows she's arrived. She finally understands what real stability and acceptance feel like.
and she doesn't want to leave. There's no reason to.
What an incredibly insightful deep dive. I mean, the core lesson feels so clear now. The real difference between the relationships that fizzle out and the ones that truly flourish.
It's finding that person who deeply understands that mature love doesn't try to possess it, liberates.
It doesn't control, it trusts.
And it doesn't try to change you, it accepts you fully.
That feels like the ultimate security,
It
really.
truly is. So we've seen that this powerful, lasting love comes from two whole people choosing to expand together, not two half people desperately trying to fill each other's voids.
Which leaves us with a really provocative thought for you, the listener, to maybe mull over today.
When you approach intimacy, when you think about connection, are you operating mostly from a place of desire or desperation?
Something to sit with. And if this deep dive into mature love, into these 7 behaviors of irreversible emotional magnetism, if this resonated with you,
We genuinely love to hear from you.
let us know down in the comments which one of these 7 behaviors do you think is the most transformative? Which one really hit home for you in building that genuine, lasting connection? We love seeing your perspectives and keeping this conversation going.
Absolutely. And please do hit that subscribe button. It really helps support more deep dives like this one, designed to give you those shortcuts to being truly well-informed.